Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think that it's always difficult to be the last one to see. And also, I know that time is very pressing, close to 6 o'clock now. So I try to just sit here instead of go over there and shorten my talk. I think for this panel, the main topic we are concerning are the culture and the development. But more focusing for our room is the heritage, cultural heritage development, and yet sustainable development. For sustainable development, since I'm from IUCN and Aloha and other three ladies here, we are all from IUCN. We all know that sustainable development is coming from 1980. The IUCN has been instructed us by UN, together with the UNEP, to write a report entitled Conservation Strategy. Has come up with the concept of sustainable development. Why we are concerning so much about sustainability? If we come back to see, 41 years has already passed since the first Earth Summit in the Stockholm. At that conference, human beings for the first time come to realize that we only share one planet. And also we start to understand that there is a limitation for groups. And also we all start to recall for the modern concept of the environment that is the latest scientist from American, Richard Hauschen. She said that while we enjoy the modern life and the tremendous development and the prosperity, it is at huge cost of the people's public health and also our future generations' sustainable development and their happiness. So sustainability has since become a very critical and key issue. But now, 41 years has passed. If we come to think about a real conference, that is the environment and the development, 21 years ago in Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil. In that meeting, the leaders of the world come to a consensus that countries in this world must come up with a legal framework, a binding legal framework, to reduce our emissions. And 11 years ago in South Africa, we hope to cut the emission 80% in the coming 20 to 30 years, and also control the population. So that with the climate change, which is amplified of all the crises in this world, no matter it's a financial crisis or the other crises. But this 40 and 21 years has passed. What's the result? Even though we have made quite some achievements, nevertheless, the biodiversity loss and the protection and the ecosystem degradation and the shortage of the fresh water, all these kind of things getting worse. Okay, so scientists worry that there is no hope that within 30 to 50 years, the global temperature will be controlled within 2 degrees centigrade. Maybe some people will say that 2 degrees, not too much. People in Hangzhou in the summer days, we suffer from 29 centigrade in the hot summer days, but sometimes jump to 35 or 36 degrees centigrade. But this planet, like a human body, is an organic body. We can only bear 37 degrees centigrade. If we 2 degrees above, it's a 39 degree. We have to be hospitalized. Same thing for all the species in this planet. So that is why this is a very critical issue for sustainability. Okay. Now, why heritage is so much importance for the culture? If we all agree that heritage culture is a critical factor for sustainable development. I would add that heritage is the most critical one, and also self-evidence for the sustainability. Because heritage itself has already lasted, many of them several hundred years, at least over 300 years. No matter if it's cultural heritage, intangible heritage, or the world nature heritage, right? And quite some heritage, we can see that even in here Hangzhou, the West Lake, is already over 1,000 years. The Great Wall over 2,000 years. So it is sustainable. It's a self-evidence. Heritage itself is a sustainable one. And why is it sustainable? Heritage is a complex of the historical resources and the future potential in social, economic, and cultural aspects, among which World Heritage stands out as the representative. So that is why, as we here speak for UNESCO, we think that UNESCO has every reason for the coming post-2015 and post-Rio Plus 20s agenda for all the leaders in the world, around about 200 leaders, right? In this agenda, culture must be there. And also in that, for the Rio Plus 20, post-Rio Plus 20 agenda, heritage must be there. Since we all feel proud that the World Heritage Program is a flagship program in UNESCO and also in the world, people all know that, not academic or professional people, but people in average people in the village or in the community, they like heritage. They like heritage sites. Now come to my second argument. First one, if I answer the why, second one, how, to answer the chairperson, Mr. Rickshaw. How? I think how is only one critical word, integration. How can we integrate cultural heritage into economic development? How can we integrate cultural heritage into inclusive society growth? How can we integrate this cultural heritage into nature and the ecosystem and the environmental protection? Number 4, how can we integrate the cultural heritage into the world peace, the peace culture, which critical word is understanding. Right? If we can understand each other, particularly in this interconnected world, and the world becomes so flat with the website and the internet. Right? So this is a critical word I would suggest for how. Number 1, why integrate into economic growth? Heritage to science, and also tangible, intangible, goods, and movable, unmovable. Heritage, nevertheless, is a great contribution to the people's livelihood, to the people's well-being. My previous panelist has so many good examples to prove that. I would also cite an example of the Cambodia heritage site by the name of the Angkor, right? The Angkor, where it was proposed to be inscribed. You all know that Cambodia, just after the war, there was no administration, no capacity, no law, no infrastructure. But with the culture, what culture? Innovative culture of the UNESCO people. So they proposed that a way, that is to say, to inscription on conditions. Number 1. Number 2, give the progress report every year. So now the Angkor of the Cambodia has received $6 million of the US dollars from China, Japan, France, Germany, and quite some other countries. So this is a shining example. And also the heritage is so much linking. And it is not only their livelihood, it's an economy, but more so it's a green economy. is environmental friendly. Second, integrate into the inclusive society. We are now experiencing the urbanization process. Never like this before. And we already have 7 billion of the population in this world. In 30 or 50 years, we are going to have 10 billion of the world population. Now 50% urbanized, and pretty soon will be 70%. So how to create inclusive society? It is again the cultural heritage, which gives identity, which gives linkage to the local, to their culture, with this globalization. If we buy the goods, like Kisha Rowe just now talked to me that if we buy goods, no matter you buy Hangzhou, New York, or you buy in Sri Lanka or Canada, it's about the same thing. It's either made in China, or made in Canada, or made in India, right? But if linking with a cultural heritage, the people immediately have an identity. So it's so much difference. It boosts the morale, boosts the confidence of their own culture, which create again the cultural diversity. And number 3, integrate with the nature and also environment. I only want to say one word, that is to say the cultural diversity coming from or go parallelly with the biodiversity, which is so much interconnected with each other. Last but not least, how to integrate with the value, the culture, the world peace, the equality, which is so much important. And also downside to the concrete aspect, it is the lifestyle. What kind of a value we are oriented to, and do we still use that consumption, high debt system, high welfare system? It's unsustainable. It's already proved that. You see some of the regions suffering from the debt problem, and a few months before have a finance cliff, and all these things shows that these 3 high is unsustainable. High welfare, very high debt system, and very high consumption system. So that is why the lifestyle, the value we are driving for is at least start from 3R: reuse, recycling, recirculate. So all these kind of things relate to the culture. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.